All these people.
Woohoo, good morning.
Good morning.
How's
How's
everybody
everybody doing?
doing?
Good, good, good.
What season is it in Georgia? Anybody want to answer that? I just can't figure it out.
Is
This
it back to
afternoon
being
it'll be
cold?
summer.
Okay, that's what I figured. It was like supposed to be high of 78. Oh goodness. Anybody else in the queue? We kind of still just gearing up here. Hey
Just
Lisa,
yeah, just making sure.
missed you, girly.
Yep, we missed you at R4.
We missed everybody at R4. Glad you guys are tapping in to just kind of hear what happened. Are you
Hey,
here for Vegas? Just real curious. Are you here for Vegas stories, or you want to know? No, I'm kidding. You're here. Yeah, okay. We're
we
here to
want
learn.
all the dirt, Lori, all
You
the
want all
dirt.
the dirt. I'm kidding. No Vegas stories this time. I mean, that's what my story. I'm sticking to it.
That's your story.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
definitely
Johnson, where are you coming from?
I'm here in Racine, Wisconsin. I'm in the Franklin White's SC Johnson Wax building. They just let me come here whenever I'm on a Zoom call. So,
Okay. It looked curious. I mean, I was curious. I was like, I don't know. Tennessee,
like
Tennessee.
like this.
Yeah. Melanie's in Tennessee at a Tennessee game is what she's doing.
Go Vols.
Go balls. Somebody wants to join the recap. How do you join it? It's on our events calendar, right? Sorry, y'all. Somebody just texted me about that.
We should get with that person after so that we can tell them how to find all of the courses that we do that people are forgetting about or don't know how to get in. And we got to figure out why they don't know how to get into the classes. So whoever that
How did
was,
y'all find the link out of curiosity?
The Zoom link for this
Yeah.
yeah.
calendar event.
The events calendar?
No, the
The
Google
email?
Calendar. Yeah, from the email automatically puts it in my Google Calendar, and then
Oh, okay,
the
good.
link
So
is
we
in
have,
there.
so somebody likes that. All right. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Other folks might filter in, but we have a lot to cover. So welcome to the R4 recap. So just to give you a little bit of context, um, there was about 3,000 attendees this year, so attendance not huge, but that kind of makes it a little bit nicer to maneuver. And Vegas as a whole was kind of empty, in my opinion. Like nothing seemed
Yeah.
really that busy. And I'd seen that on Facebook, and I wasn't sure if it was true. It's true. It was kind of quiet out there. But we had a great time, and so we're going to talk about some of the speakers. We had James Clear, who has written the book Atomic Habits. We had Vanessa Van
Edwards.
Edwards, who
Talking
wrote a
about
book.
this. Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah,
I
go
got so
ahead.
excited. She was one of my favorites. She wrote about the science of people. So there's a book called Cues, and we're going to talk about that. Yeah, I think it's going to be something helpful. This is going to be part of the inspiration part we'll share with you guys.
Yeah. So they've kind of changed the format. It's definitely something I would consider if you've never been, maybe something you want to consider for next year. A lot of good breakout sessions, a lot of great networking and marketing. And they're really moving things at REMAX at a much faster pace. So we're going to share a lot today. Not everything is currently available, but it's all going to be within the next 30 to 60 days. So it's not like, oh, this is like another year. Why did they even talk about it? But we don't have, so just to give you a little bit of setting the stage and the expectations, some of this is going to be forthcoming and rolling out. So I cannot stress enough the importance of please, please, please bookmark or favorite or move from your promotions folder or your junk folder the emails that come from REMAX headquarters. They send out between 1 and 2 emails a week of all the stuff that is coming up, all the training. And I'm serious as a heart attack. You do not want to miss some of this stuff. They are not going to call you on the phone. They can't call 145,000 agents and tell them, hey, you better pay attention to this. So you've got to take ownership of the fact you pay to be part of this, this wonderful company. And you really need to tap in to what is being offered because it's all relevant, it's current, it's AI driven. They they have really pulled out all the stops to put us in the forefront of a lot of different marketing areas. And I don't know a time that we've been better positioned than really now with all the things that I see that other companies are doing. They are moving lightning speed. So I was very impressed with their commitment to staying relevant and getting ahead of the curve. So I'm excited. Check your emails. I'm going to give you some links that will outline a lot of the stuff that we saw. They put in great places for you to look at it. So lots to share. We're going to dive right in. We put this kind of in a slide deck. You'll get the slide deck. They have the active links. Happy to answer any questions as we go through. So definitely feel free to hop in and say, hey, I have a question, slow down. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. So just kind of starting on, Lori and I went. Lisa Harris had an emergency and was not able to attend, and Barry Sanders was also with us. So we were there representing, and we had a great time, a lot of great connection, and just really were able to kind of divide and conquer. So it was really nice. So today, what we want to do is share what we learned, what we can implement, and then what actually inspired us. So we're going to talk about the major announcements, what you can implement, and then some key takeaways from inspiration. All right, Lori, you want to take over on this slide?
Okay. Well, as Holly said in the beginning, there is a lot of things that are coming out that some are available in some markets, some are not available just yet. The Canva integration is going to be available right in the new REMAX Marketing Studio. And that gives agents access to Canva. If you don't have it already, it's going to be $129 a year as long as you sign up with your remax.net email address. And the advantage with this Canva is all of the REMAX, they have a lot of REMAX templates, a lot of the branding, all the logos, everything is going to be put into Canva. So you will have access to that.
Well, yeah, and just
yeah.
sorry, Lori, but we
Go
have
ahead, no, go
slides
ahead.
for all. No, we have slides for all of these. So if you just want to kind of give them an overview of like the major announcements, then we'll get into each slide.
Okay, great.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the major announcements, just in recap, Canva integration. There is a Marketing Studio. It used to be called Marketing as a Service. It's now Marketing Studio. BossCat. BossCat is a great tool that you're going to learn about to give free estimates on repairs when you're in the middle of a transaction. Skyview for Bold Trail and Max Tech. Remax gave us a stat that there was a 10 million customer we've served in the past decade alone, which is above a lot of other brokerages out there, 10 million customers. And they've said that they're pretty much ahead on that number in the marketplace. Master Pitch is a great listing presentation tool that you're going to hear about. AI staging for a lot of listings. This is going to be something great that you're going to learn about in just a second. Home Search AI, and then the REMAX Lifestyle Golf. So we're going to go into that. I'll let Holly get to that.
Great. So the REMAX AI ecosystem, they really are turning everything to be similar to ChatGPT. So we're going to talk about that. But the whole thing that they're doing is they want to bring AI tools integrated across marketing, lead conversion, and agent productivity. And the goal is really that you'll work smarter, respond faster, and convert more opportunities. So they really are trying to streamline your efforts. And there's some really cool stuff that's going to be rolled out within the Max Center platform itself. So we're pretty excited about that. So here is what Lori was talking about. So Lori, if you want to pick back up here on your Canva integration.
Okay. Well, I kind of already spoiled it. I think. I think I said it was 129 a year with your remax.net email. And it gives you easier access to the tool if you need it. So this would be an agent account for you to be able to go in to Max Center on remax.net, be able to have Canva and upload anything. It can produce a lot of listing kits for you, your social media graphics. You can have your own brand consistent templates as well as any kind of listing marketing materials as well. So that I think right now the office is, I think with Canva, from what we saw, you can actually, the office can obtain it as well as the agent. But we have to log you in. You have to get logged into remax.net and just subscribe. I think this is available right now.
And this will be integrating with the MLS. There's a couple of additional features that are going to be coming soon, which is also the option for you to purchase Spotlight through Realtor.com. And that is a way that your listing on Realtor.com will be highlighted extra. And from the way it sounds, we don't have access to it yet, but from what I can tell, what's going to happen is on each listing, if you wanted to add that. So you know how you can go into marketing as a service and run a Facebook ad, you can do Google ads, you can do video. You'll be able to choose on a particular listing if you would like to add the spotlight from realtor.com onto that. So that is going to be forthcoming. So again, it's a way that you can decide you don't have to do it for every listing. Remember, the marketing studio is where you can utilize free marketing or you can do things for pay. So this whole thing is evolving. So the marketing studio is a place you definitely want to go and explore. It is located on Max Center, which is remax.net. There's a little tile. It still says marketing as a service. They'll be changing that, I'm sure, to say marketing studio. So you definitely want to hop in to there and do some exploring. We had done a class on it, but it was back before it had all this good stuff. So we'll probably be doing a lot more classes on these tools. So make sure that you're following along with that calendar and checking your email for the classes that we're doing here in the office. So how many people are excited about Canva? How many people use Canva? I heard this was a huge roar in the crowds when this was announced. So anybody have some feedback on the Canva integration?
It is great because it is with the integration. That's what I was asking about it. And I did use Spotify, which they have integration with Remax, but this is even better because you can create it right there on the marketing with the listing.
Excellent. So we're trying to make your life easier and give you the tools that you're actually comfortable with. So any questions on that?
Yeah. So is it going to take in marketing as a service when you have a listing and it marketing as a service has these listing options, will it then take that design and put it into Canva so you can edit it how you want to?
Yep.
Mhm.
Going to be right in there and it pulls everything from the MLS. So everything is going to go right into Canva, just like it would be going into the marketing as a service. And they're going to load when you subscribe through Remax. So what will happen is your regular Canva subscription flips to the Remax one and they will load it with all the Remax templates, all the brand colors. So you'll have the whole branding kit already ready to go for everything. So there's really going to be no adoption and trying to change. I mean, right now, I guess when you use Canva, you have to upload the brand stuff, I think yourself, I guess, if you're using the Remax colors, but they will preload it with everything out of the gate. So, I mean, it's just going to be huge.
Yeah,
Love
it
it.
has like a brand kit that you can create. So maybe they already have the brand kit. I guess
Yep.
my curiosity was actual listings, the photos and the description, you have to manually put that into Canva now. So I guess with marketing as a service, it's going to like save that time, a lot of time in that step.
Yes, it'll pull your listing right as it is in the MLS. So all the listing data goes right into the fields for whatever you're creating. Super cool.
Is it like for the one that we already have, the Pro and Canva, a way to switch to this? Because it's paid, like I pay annually.
Yes,
And
they
it's
talked about how that's going to go. So I think there, when you get into marketing as a service, there is a button that you can click on for subscription. And I think they walk you through how to do that and what that's going to look like.
Hey, Holly, I was told by Jeff Glover, who runs a lot of marketing stuff. He said really be careful using Canva because these platforms really do not want you to run any ads for free. They want you to pay for them. So it's better to do it organically, individually for each platform versus using Canva because these platforms, the spiders, see that you're marketing and will squash the exposure.
Mm.
Is that
Well,
true?
the ads that are run through Marketing Studio is run through a company called Realforce. So they already know all the algorithms. So when you use the Marketing Studio, you're actually hopping out. So it doesn't really matter what you're creating. And actually, let me take that back. When you're creating your Canva materials, that's not what is flipping into an ad. So the ad section of marketing as a service are templates that are done through Realforce. So they're not using what you're creating. You're creating your marketing materials, things that you would be posting. The ad section of Marketing Studio is done through a separate company. But what they're doing is they're keeping all of the marketing tools in the Marketing Studio. So when you get in there, if you want to run an ad, you'll notice that the AI driven created templates are not what is being created in Canva. So they're two separate things. Now, if you wanted to take a Canva creation and go somewhere else on your own to run an ad, he may be talking he may know what he's talking about. I don't know any of that part, but the Canva portion is not actually to then take that and turn it to an ad within the Marketing Studio. The Marketing Studio ads are run through Realforce and they already have AI driven templates that they do not recommend you change because they've been generated through AI and they've been tested and their algorithms are already set for maximum exposure, maximum impressions. And so I wouldn't deviate if that is what you're thinking about. But I understand what you're saying, but I think we're talking about two different things. Does that make sense?
So when is your next marketing studio class?
I don't know. We're just getting back and I want to make sure everything's available so that I can have one class to be able to cover it all. Because right now we still have about 15 to 20 days, I think, on a couple of things that are being layered in. And I'd much rather wait. And then I still want to make sure that I'm clear on everything. So we still have a little bit of learning, but I'm hoping March or at least the beginning of April, maybe. It's already March. It's already March. Holy moon. So maybe the beginning of
I think
April.
And
I was
Holly, you also have a CE class to overview REMAX marketing tools. So what she knows by that point, which I think is next week, no, it's
It's
2 weeks,
the 18th. Yep.
will be a good recap of what the tools are as far as progress and what she knows about it. And that's a 3-hour CE.
Yeah, so it's called the Remax Tech Stack, and that is CE 3 hours, and it's on March 18th from 10 to 1. So that would be a great way for you to get everything I know to that point. I will be sharing. So lots of great information, and I really, really encourage everybody to clear your calendar for that because I think there's a huge leverage opportunity for everyone. I've said that for forever. But I mean, I like really think it now after what I went to, what I saw this R4. This really is a way to differentiate all of yourselves. People just don't. They're not getting tools like this. So, like, you definitely want to buckle up and put your learning hat on and just lean into. Yeah, you might have to make some changes in your routines, but ultimately it's going to make you more efficient. You're going to stand out more and you're going to outperform and over deliver to your clients. And I think that's what all of us want to do is how can we serve our client better? And
I was just going
good.
to say for the Canva because I started using it as a studio and it's extremely easy. And I start a new YouTube channel and it's incredibly like the algorithm that they have because you put it on the calendar. You don't even have to worry about that you have to post. It is wonderful that it works. And probably John, what you're saying about Josh Glover, he was talking about on the other side when you do ads, And those are completely different from working on the studio on the Canva. And I just started it like a month ago. And it's really, really good. Like the YouTube channel that I start right now, it's totally different from the one that I was struggling a year ago. So Canva works.
Excellent. Love it. So we'll definitely do deeper dives in Canva. Any Canva experts will definitely be soliciting your expertise to help maybe facilitate some of these trainings would be great. As you know, I learn what I can, but I'm not actually in the trenches. So the people that are using it day in and day out, we would love to have you collaborate with us, you know, and make sure that we can give you guys the best of the best information.
Rachel, Haley, and I all use it constantly too. So we do have staff very familiar that can support.
Excellent. And definitely lean into everyone because there is a lot of new stuff and Rachel, Selena, and I'm sure Haley too, that they're already up to speed on a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about today. So tap into all of us. You know, we're all here to help you. And, you know, if it's not in my lane, I'll refer it to someone that whose lane it is. But you know, we definitely are here to support and we don't know what y'all need and you know, unless you reach out. So please take advantage of us. All right, so as we mentioned, the marketing studio was MAAS, Marketing as a Service. Just to recap, automated listing marketing, social media templates, email campaigns, digital marketing tools. There's also Max AI, which is the little chat robot that if you are totally into marketing your website and you've gained a lot of traction, you drive a lot of people to your website and you would like to have a little chat robot in the bottom corner that communicates with your leads. Max AI is an option. I would never, it's not free. So I would never recommend that somebody just, oh, that sounds like a cool thing to have. If you are not really promoting your website and driving lots of traffic, there would not be a need for you to add this chat person to talk if you're not driving anybody there. But there are people that really are specifically trying to take hold of their local market, which is a smart thing to do. And our websites are poised very well to do that with a few tweaks that I'm happy to help you do. So if it is a strategy, I definitely would encourage you to consider this down the road after you feel that you know you have enough online lead traffic coming that having that Max AI robot would help. There's also some other things that our websites will do to communicate with your traffic, with the people that walk into your store through behavioral alerts. So there is another mechanism that's free. So there's a lot that you can explore, but the first thing you'd have to decide is, hey, I want to turn my store, my storefront into a local presence where I get foot traffic, finger traffic, you know, so that's a good strategy, but we do have Max AI. It's not free, but I wanted to mention that because some people really are understanding the power of leaning into dominating locally and using their store to do so. Master pitch. There's a couple of links in this presentation, and I'm going to encourage you when you get the presentation to explore some of these. Master pitch is great for luxury. Now, I was kind of thinking about the master pitch and saying, you know, it is good for luxury because it is these high-end like listing tools, right? So it's a video listing presentation book. The video, it can hold multiple videos. So you send this, you buy one, I think it's $55. You load it with a video of your information, your listing presentation. You can send it to the client ahead of time, or you can just present this video book while you're on your appointment. It's not a huge investment to wow every single price point. So yeah, it's great for luxury, but I'm like, I would just outperform and do it on a $150,000 listing. I mean, you want to talk about making people feel special. The master pitch is a series, a selection of items, of tools designed to really have you showcase your abilities. So it has a video book. You can buy a hardcover listing presentation book, a soft cover listing presentation book, a box that holds a REMAX, box that holds like either a bottle of champagne or, whatever. So they have all these like I guess you'd call it collaboration, or I don't know, merchandise designed to really have you put yourself apart. So the shop Remax, and I'm going to click on it, but I'm not sure if my screen's going to follow over. So you can just tell me if it opened up. Did it open up Max Shop, or are you still seeing the other screen?
It
Yeah,
opened up Mac Shop.
Okay, so Max Shop, well, there's a Remax boutique now, and you will see in here you can shop the brand boutique or shop master pitch. So it shows a couple of things in here. But the master pitch, just so you can visually see this, it's not that expensive in my opinion. Again, you don't have to buy this for every single client. You can just pick and choose perhaps. But you'll see here, here's the video brochure, really powerful. It's $55. This is something you could use over and over again. There's a little leather folio, a listing presentation book. It's like a coffee table book, $35. It's got the presentation box. There's a leather briefcase, a champagne wine box, moving bag sets for $45. Listing presentation, soft cover 5 packs, little keychains. So there are a lot of really nice higher end materials. You have your little listing booties, your shoe covers. So I have been trying to find people that have been using this. I did hear of folks when I was in the broker meeting that brokers had agents that absolutely were knocking it out of the park with some of these materials, but I didn't get to talk to anybody specifically. So I would love to get feedback. And as I find people that are actually using this and can get some feedback, maybe I can get some video and just kind of be able to share that with you. But the master pitch was something that was, brought out pretty big, as well as if you're in Bold Trail and you click on marketing and you go to present. Present is a section in Bold Trail, similar to Cloud CMA, where you can build your CMA, but they're presentation decks. And there's a whole new section of slides in there for the REMAX collection. So that I will be covering on the 18th, and anybody that has any, higher end or, higher end listings that are coming, exploring those collection slides can really help you build together a really strong presentation. And I'd be happy to go through that with anybody that needs it. Here is another link that will also go through all the announcements so that you can go back and recap with additional links and see that. And then there's just some information about the tech innovations. So when you get this slide deck, you'll be able to go through. Here are the links for you right there. So any questions on that? Okay, home search AI.
Let me
Yep.
ask a question real quick.
Yes.
Hank Bailey had posted yesterday about using an iPad for your listing appointments. Do you see people doing this instead of iPad, or how big is the screen on it too? Were you able to see it in person?
Yeah, it's pretty big. It opens up. No, it's not as big as a laptop, but I would say it's similar to an iPad. It's about the same size as an iPad. And it's designed more, actually, in my opinion, to kind of set the stage for an appointment, where you have video. So you're talking about, maybe the REMAX brand. They have a few things that you can buy that are pre-done, or you can upload your own presentation. So I would definitely, I think there's a screen where you can actually click on and see a demo of it. So it may be something that you'd want to explore. I think an iPad, if you're trying to do the same thing, would be completely sufficient as well. So I think to me, it's more, do you want to add a higher level of presentation than an iPad? Would you want to try to send something ahead of time in the little box, or, so thinking about each client a little bit differently, but it's about the same size as an iPad. Okay,
I also
home
think
search.
that
Yep. Mhm.
I was going to say, I thought that this was, if you don't really already have a process, like if you don't send out a pre-listing questionnaire, if you don't have a lot of processes or anything right now, that is a good option for a lot of agents to use. But somebody like a Hank who already may be taking his iPad with his own listing presentation, I think, I don't think they were trying to change the way anybody was doing anything. I think this was, hey, this is something extra for you guys to be able to use to step up, take it from where you are now to something else.
I think the whole thing, people expect video in some form
Mhm.
nowadays. So I think it was a way to bridge that, gap and to give us a little bit more on the luxury side.
Agree.
All right. Home search AI. This I've been waiting for about a year, and it's here. So this is a smart search that learns your buyer preferences. It keeps buyers engaged longer on websites and the apps. And we also have our free home view app, which will give people the same search experience as this. So if you're not inviting people to download the home view app, which lets them search the MLS and message you back and forth and puts your face on their phone, I would encourage you to explore that. Set an appointment with me if you don't understand what it is, or to definitely attend the CE class on the 18th. But you will now notice on our REMAX websites that when you open it up, the search now will give you an option to remain in classic search, which is where you have to type in what you want, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, click on filters, right? Or they can now go with a search experience with AI. And what that does is it will let the client use natural language to do their searches. So if they log in with the search AI feature, they're going to be prompted to register, to log in with their Gmail account. Now, I don't know, I've been asking, is that something that is mandatory to use the AI? Or is it a setting because it's new to the websites? I have not gotten that answer, but when you click on search with AI, it is going to prompt you to register. So I'm trying to find out that answer. So if anybody's going to question, as soon as I do know, I will post that answer in the Facebook group. However, when they enter into search with AI, they now can just talk into the computer or into the phone, things like find me a 3 bedroom, 4 bath home in Lawrenceville on a corner lot with granite countertops, a fenced yard in this school district, blah, 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 blah. So all they have to do is talk. They don't have to pick through filters anymore. So now having all these great filters on our website doesn't really matter. It's all going to be on natural language, which means your listing descriptions need to be super, super accurate, because when the AI hears what the person says, it is going to go into every data field in that listing. Doesn't matter whether it's in the listing description or whether or not you uh, checked a box or whatever. It will be able to go in and it will instantly give them back the results. Now, what I really like is that it will give them a match score. So if I ask for 10 things, and there's 2 homes that have those 10 things, the first 2 tiles that appear in my search results will have in the top right corner 100% matched. And then as things fall off from what I asked for, the match score will decrease. So now people will be able to self-discover, oh, so I wanted all those 10 things, but only 4 things came back, and the highest one was 80%. So 2 things I'm not getting, right? So they're going to be able to really self-discover and make those adjustments so much quicker and so much easier. And now they're going to want to stay on your site more because it's so much easier and interactive. And the system will start to get to understand them. There's a lot of AI that's also being rolled into our websites and into Bold Trail and into Max Tech. So these are not going to be like now, oh, I have to go in and figure out who do I have to call. No, we're getting a new app that's going to say, hey, this person looked at 5 properties. Why don't you call them today? Like, it's going to start to tell you who you should be putting your focus on. But if you don't use these tools, then you're still going to have to go and figure it out, right? So the quicker you get into adopting these tools and taking advantage of the help that's going to be provided behind the scenes for you, the quicker you're going to be able to win. I think if I noticed anything, and I'm kind of hesitant, I'll be honest, there's some things I'm like, I don't really want to learn that. I don't want to have to do that. Darn it. With AI, there's really no excuse. Like, I can't really say I don't know how to do something anymore because I can just go to ChatGPT and it's going to tell me how to do it. But I will say that over the week, day after day, cumulatively, I felt more and more like you really do have to stay in the game here. because there's a lot of people that are like eager to chew up all this stuff. So a little bit of uncomfortableness I felt just even for myself. I was like, gosh, everything feels like I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed. But then when you kind of step back and just say, okay, let's just take it layer by layer. What's one thing that I can implement? So we're really going to encourage you to pick 3 things to implement, and we would like to help you get those. But this is pretty cool. You can go right to your website right now and you will see. And our websites are fully customizable. So you can make them Google enriched, you can add HTML. So when people are like, oh, it's just a template, it starts out as a template for the people that don't really care. And then for the people that do care, it's way more than just a template. So I just wanted to throw that out there for folks that might not realize how robust Inside Real Estate is and the tool that we actually have access to. So Home Search AI is now here. It does say that it's still in beta. And I don't know how long that will stay. So any questions on Home Search and the Home View branded app?
I think that's a no.
All right, Max AI. When you go into Max Center, coming soon to a computer near you, it's going to look, you can always keep it in classic mode, which everybody knows are a bunch of tiles. Or you can kind of do what it says on the other one, and you can enter into, it's called Sky View. It's going to be Max AI Sky View, where you can just tell it's going to look like ChatGPT. But it's every REMAX tool, every resource, every logo, every slogan, everything about REMAX has been loaded as a resource. So it is a REMAX AI driven tool designed for you to just go in and say, I'm going on a listing presentation and I'm going to see this client. What all should I bring? And can you please give me everything that I need? You can go in and say, where is PhotoFi? So you're just going to be able to ask it. You don't have to hunt and peck and use a search. You can just go in and it's going to be like ChatGPT. We were able to demo that. Super cool. Oh my gosh, it gives you prompts. What do you want to do today? So it's very similar to ChatGPT, and that's going to be for all the REMAX tools. So Max Center is going to get a whole new view. So it's going to be called Sky View. It's going to be super cool, and I think you're going to really like it.
And one
Okay,
thing I
Lori.
was getting,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yep, go ahead.
One thing I was going to say about Skyview was that I did go take a look at it and I did sign up to beta test it because if you go into remax.net right now and you go to Max Center, you're still going to see, I still see it, you're still going to see just all the tiles. So it hasn't been rolled out, but I did sign up to beta test it. So I cannot wait till I hear from them about, being able to get in there and beta test it. And then they let me, hopefully in my account, be able to beta test it. Because right now, if you were to go in, you're still going to see the tiles and then you're still going to have the search feature. But I'm so looking forward to having that because, I just feel like the search feature is now becoming archaic when you can specifically say what you're looking for. So having that integrated in the dashboard is going to be so much better. But anyway, so yes, so Holly kind of just went over what the Skyview was. Boss Cat, here, let me share my screen real quick.
Can I ask you a question? Sorry.
Sure.
I got an email to beta test streams. Is that the same or no?
No. So if anybody got, I think Rebecca did too. If you get an email from Inside Real Estate to beta test streams, right now we have a mobile app for Bold Trail for the agents. There's one for the consumer that's called Home View. And then we have a mobile app. The new mobile app for agents is called Streams. And I would love to beta test it, but I have an Android and it's rolling out first on iPhone. So I would go ahead and do that. It's the mobile app that's going to be, it's interactive with your Bold Trail account. So that's where it's AI powered to be like, hey, this person just clicked on 5 properties. Why don't you call them today? So it tells you what's exactly going on in your Bold Trail account in real time. Super cool. Takes out all the guesswork. If anybody gets the invite, I would totally do it. I did. There was a webinar yesterday. I'm waiting for the recording. I'm happy to share the streams webinar. It is about 30 to 45 days of rolling out. So it is in beta, but it's been in beta for a while. So we are getting access to that. So if you have an iPhone and you get invited, I'd jump on it if I were you.
Yeah. Okay. Let me share my screen. I was just going to give everybody just a quick preview of Boss Cat. So, I know and with your transactions, if you're going through the inspection process, and a lot of inspectors have something similar to this already built into their services, which is a repair estimator. But if your current inspector doesn't have that, or you're trying to negotiate a deal and you're on the listing side, you now have access to BossCat technologies, which is just being able to get a repair estimate whenever you've got, that amendment to address concerns come in and you've got, 8, 10, 20 repairs that they want the seller to do. Or if you're working with your buyer, you could actually get an estimate of how much all of this would cost. So it is very easy to get in here and get an estimate. You just go to bosscathome.com and then you would create your own account with your remax.net email. Okay, so create an account with remax.net email, and this is going to be a free resource for you to use. Didn't really live drive it. It is property specific, but this is something great that you can start utilizing.
I used it a year and a half ago when I used Palsy recommended the inspector. I don't remember who it was, but it synced with what the inspection results were and gave me estimates. And I bought a house that's from the 80s. So it had several things I needed estimates on of what the cost for improvement would be. And it was a really cool feature. And I'd just like to add REMAX bought BossCat. So this is a company that they own now. And I know there's been a lot of rumors about what's happening in REMAX, but I mean, they're buying companies and investing in companies, and this is one of them. So I think that's a good sign of their commitment to the office and the brokers and the agents in it. But BossCat as a purchaser, as a buyer, it was very, very helpful with figuring out what I needed to ask for from the seller.
Yeah, and I just went ahead and put the link in the chat here. It's bosscathome.com, but I put the link in the chat. You can go ahead and, like I said, sign up with your remax.net email. Okay, very helpful tool.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
This has nothing to do with this topic, but there's rumors going around that Keller Williams is buying REMAX. Is that true?
I had not heard that.
There are rumors that the person that there was like South Point, I think is the name of it, had bought a large stake in Keller Williams and that they already own a large stake of stock in REMAX. But I was on a ownership broker call where people were asking that question to leadership, and one, we wouldn't know if that was what the plan was or if that was going to happen. Like there wouldn't be any kind of leakage of information. But that was my point with BossCat. When you see REMAX buying businesses, it doesn't seem like, bless you, Ryan. It doesn't seem like there is a intention of them being sold when they're sitting here buying BossCat and other platforms. So it seems like they're very forward thinking, forward shift of how do they bring relevant tools and resources. And I don't think we would see that necessarily if leadership were thinking that the REMAX model was about to be sold.
Okay, so
Right.
on some of the presenters that we had, we're going to get into some of those as well, but a big shift, and I know many of you are already great. You're already using chat, you've already changed how you do listing descriptions, but there was a company that really kind of hit a lot of people like right between the eyes with these little tiny adjustments that they made in talking about how you can differentiate yourself and how you can market listings and your service. So Lori, you want to talk about this? Because I know it really kind of made an impact with you.
Well, it really did because they brought two guys out from a company called 1000 Watt Marketing. And what they do is, they do marketing for a living, not just in the real estate industry, but for other industries. And they like to focus on, okay, it's not just marketing, which is branding yourself. It's not just promotion of a certain item or a certain event. it is moving more towards storytelling because with some data that they collected over the years, they went about it as, okay, how do we help solve problems for people trying to brand themselves, promote things, and what does it really take in the real estate industry? And where they found out was that buyers really want to connect more with emotion and lifestyle and experience versus, okay, yes, they know their criteria: 4 bedroom, 2 bath, 2.5 bath. They want to be on a golf course. They want a basement, all the stuff that we have all been trained to ask them, right? But taking your marketing and just making a little bit of a shift. They're not saying erase whatever you're already doing. They're saying, instead of describing a feature, what you want to do is use a little bit more emotional language. Let me bring up a couple of examples. And you may have seen, and I'm going to go back to this because I posted it. I thought these were the ones that actually made an impact on me that I felt, gosh, all of y'all, if you've got listings, which I know a lot of people on this call have listings, not about branding yourself, but let's just take listings right now, right? And did you list something? We all do because we create them for you, right? We create the just listed cards. We create the just sold cards. Just listed cards are great. They're not saying get rid of it. Yes, you want to promote that house, the price of it, if you put that on there, if that's what your MO is, the 4 bedroom, 3 bath, how many square feet, what the listing price is. But what if you just kind of took it a step further and took it out to where, how do you emotionally make somebody connect with the property a little bit more? This is one example: a dressing room that puts Fashion Week to shame, right? Yes, it's the closet. You could do this with any room in the house, right? But how are you telling the story about that house? It's not just the product on the shelf that it is. When it goes up on the open market, yes, it technically is a product on the shelf, but how do you kind of soften it a little bit more to bring that emotion out so that people connect with it? It's not everybody's going to connect with a closet like that, right? Maybe they would connect with something different. Maybe they're going to connect with the home office. Maybe they're going to connect with the kitchen. Maybe they're going to connect with the pool. Bring out those little bit of features, just make those little bit of adjustments. And not only are they saying, is that going to get the house sold? Not necessarily, but you're making a little bit bigger of an impression on how you will promote those properties. So I felt like it could start giving everybody a little edge if you were open to definitely trying that. Same thing with just sold. And the reason I grabbed this is because, Holly, I've been on so many calls with you, and there's been so many times, and we talk about it, and we talk about, okay, we promote just sold, and we promote those pictures at closing, but we're not telling the story because it looks like we sold this house, yay, and it's all about the realtor. Let's kind of take a step back from that a little bit. Let's make it more about what happened during the process. Have you had a hard listing that was really unique? Everybody kind of knows it. It's the elephant in the room, right? Even the neighbors are like, well, that was a unique house. I don't know how they're ever going to sell that. That's going to be a difficult one, right? I don't know, call that out. Say it. This home didn't fit every buyer. We found the one it did. I mean, I think that just makes a bigger impact than just sold, in my opinion. If I was a neighbor and I saw that and I'm looking in my neighborhood thinking, that's going to be a challenge. I wonder who's going to buy that. I think we all think it, we just don't say it. Well, we found that REMAX, Tina, John, Holly, Anna, we found the one it did. We were able to find that buyer. This was a unique home. We were able to find that buyer. So a couple of different tweaks. Same thing on your websites. We've got so much stuff we could do. I mean, I even kind of got overwhelmed, even though I felt like I drank from a fire hose with all of these new tools, and Holly's so good at breaking them down and figuring all of it out. But, getting back to your own website, everybody's website, every agent's website says featured listings. Mine does. Well, the one that I've got, but I mean, just about everybody, unless you've got some different verbiage, why not change it up to homes I am currently marketing for sale? This is an easy fix, isn't it, Holly, in Bold Trail? Like we can do that.
Yeah, I don't know on that. We'd have to probably create a new widget, but it's not a problem.
Okay. Okay. But something a little bit more connecting to the buyers. So this is something y'all could you could take away. They were part of the Tuesday, our Super Tuesday session, our opening general session, and a lot of these speakers are very inspirational, but I found them a little bit inspirational, but at the same time, something more for implementation is really what I felt like. So, if you're at that place where, hey, I'm trying to storytell a little bit more, or you're thinking about storytelling, this would be 2 or 3 great things that you could get started to implement right now. Your just listed cards, your just sold cards, as well as your website. Any questions? Any thoughts on that?
What I love about that is like utilizing Chat GPT can kind of be impersonal, but you could also use it to help you tell a better story. So,
Yep.
like what you like about the home, what the sellers loved about the home, and how do you put that in your just listed marketing campaign? So, I think you could. I love the thought of putting more energy and effort into the words in your marketing rather than a standard template. So it's really
Yeah.
cool. And our staff can update any of the postcards or marketing if you want to have them do just listed or just sold to whatever your verbiage is. They were just telling me yesterday, we're not seeing anybody order any under contract or
Interesting.
yeah, none of those postcards are getting ordered, but do have some. We do have a lot of just listed postcards that get ordered, and then not as many, but some just sold.
Okay. Great.
So
Well, I
some
hope this goes.
storytelling example, instead of describing a feature, like the atrium makes you feel like you own the sky. So it talks about emotional language will help buyers imagine living in the home. They had another good one that I really liked. 2 words for everyone who said you couldn't do it, my house. And he had a really good visual of this with somebody sitting like on the front steps of their home, and then a little blurb up on to the top thing that really talked about the challenges of owning a home or getting into home ownership or whatever. And then, so just really high impact, very little words, but it was really cool. So, good stuff there. All right, what buyers value? They were talking about the stats and just, what agents should really try to focus on with their value. And it really comes in, somebody was saying it's, make sure the house I'm buying isn't the wrong one for the wrong reasons. And I think Pat has always been really good about, you know, talking about our value and helping people determine, is this a good fit? Not just for the price, but the inspection and how long do you plan to be here? So, what buyers are looking for is to explain inspections and disclosures, to evaluate the pros and cons of a home. They do want to tour the home together, negotiating price and terms, and buyers value guidance and expertise. So, a lot of times we talk about, oh, it's not really the home search and they can search anywhere. And they typically do find the home. And I think the biggest thing that I talk about is where are they looking to find that home? Because that's why I'm so passionate about get them on the Home View app, get them in your ecosystem. It's not because I think it's a bad idea for people to use Zillow. Like everybody loves Zillow. People like Redfin, people like Rocket, whatever. The issue is when they're in that ecosystem, they are at such a risk of being scooped up by somebody that's really good at connecting with leads. So every time that you push someone away to another ecosystem, you're at risk. And that's why I'm so passionate about get them in, invite them into your ecosystem, right? They're going to use whatever tool they want. But if you don't have a way to create stickiness with them, someone else probably is, and they're definitely going to, because that's the name of the game now, is to get people into your ecosystem and keep them there so that they want to come back more because you're valuable, because you actually give your subscribers what they're looking for. So I think we have the best ecosystem out there compared to any real estate brand for creating stickiness and for providing value. I haven't seen any other tool. I mean, I got access to a tool that a lot of people use, and I thought it was going to be so much better than what we have. And I couldn't believe how similar it was and how ours was actually better. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And this whole time I had this perception thinking, geez, everybody says it's so much easier, so much better. And I was like, it looks exactly like what we have, but it's missing these 8 things. Like it was kind of interesting. So just study what you have and how you can get people into your ecosystem. Agents provide inside technology can't. So when you're positioning yourself, because Zillow won't tell you about the bad wiring, right? And agents protect clients from making costly mistakes. So I think as you're looking at your value proposition, really study how you can get that message across and really what is it that buyers really care about. Put that into ChatGPT. And they did spend, a good bit of time talking about understand your position and your value, and then how can you actually wrap that into your tools? And how can that be part of your everyday business model? So it's pretty cool, and we have a lot of stuff that we can. Another big focus was staying connected after the closing, something we've taught a lot about the bow tie funnel and how every client that remains connected to you is worth about $178,000 over the lifetime of that relationship, provided they're still alive and they didn't become a realtor themselves. But if they're really connected to you between repeat and referral business, you really have a huge opportunity that if you tracked would be very telling as to how well your relationships develop. 54% of clients said their agent stayed in touch. 54%. I mean, analyze yourself, right? And see how well you're doing. 46% said their agent did not even keep up with them. So there's a lot of opportunity out there for adopting people that need a good resource, need a good realtor. People need you before, during, and after the transaction. That's what I'd be studying. I'd be going into AI and saying, how can I really help clients before they even want to do something? What is my value proposition then? Well, it's your store, right? Your store should be loaded with all kinds of valuable information for people that aren't even ready to make a move yet. Your preferred vendors, information about homestead, information about home insurance, things, market trends, all those things that we are positioned to provide them. Then we have the during stage, and then we have the after stage. So Bold Trail does all of this and more. You may have a CRM that does it. Just get in there and figure out how you can make it work for you. Sky and Streams is going to be your assistant. And I'd be happy, any of us would be happy to go in depth with you on that. So cool stuff. Simple follow-up strategy, 3 messages, 3 ways I can help, right? So just 3 things you can do right out of the gate for implementation. Provide vendor referrals, offer home value updates, give renovation advice. So just 3 things that you can kind of put in. And then I'll let Lori kind of talk about the main 2 speakers that were really, really impactful. And
Sure.
it starts with Vanessa.
So then actually, well, we'll talk about James Clear at the end. He did talk at our opening session. He was great. We'll go over that. Vanessa Van Edwards, I had never heard of her at all, which is the case with some of the speakers. But when you give them a chance and you actually kind of listen to them, this one was really quite interesting to me. And some of the things that she talked about, I wanted to, kind of bring to light. What it was some of the benefit, though, we did some live things when she was there in the audience. So that was the benefit that I can't really replicate here. When we were actually at R4, but she's a self-proclaimed introvert, right? She was like, I like being by myself. I don't want to be around people, which was super interesting. But she basically, she's a behavioral researcher. Okay. And what she found by being a behavioral researcher was she felt like people skills aren't an innate talent. They are a science you can learn for those introverts in the room. And what she did was she kind of broke it down to you have warm people and then you have competent people, right? And, warm people can kind of give off a thing that they're not very serious. Yes, they're very warm, and you could be drawn to them, right? But they could give you this sense that they might not follow through on things. You may not quite trust them a little bit, right? If they lean heavily on the warm side. And then on the competent side, people that are very highly competent, very highly skilled, they tend to be a little bit more cold, and they're not very trustworthy to a lot of people out there. So she's saying what she learned was, after observing these two types of personalities, people, that there's a way to bridge the gap scientifically, and there's different ways you can learn. So she wrote a book called Cues. She didn't really talk about Captivate, which was another one of her books. She talked about a book called Cues, and it was about identifying people and how they do come across, whether they're warm or they're very confident. I found it helpful because sometimes when people don't come across very warm, we all tend to take that personally, and we tend to think, oh, well, you know what? They just might be very highly competent, and they don't feel that need to be that warm and fuzzy. And I wanted to share with you some cues that she talked about. If you're one of those people that you seem to tend highly warm versus competent, or if you're one of those that's very introverted and very competent and you tend to not sway very warm, here's just a tip that she came across with on the first 10 words that you say. I'm not going to go into all of the other tactics that she used that you can use in your business world, or I'm sorry, your business life. But think about this when you're working with clients. Think about, what are the first 10 words that you say. How many of us say, I'm so busy? How are you doing? I'm so busy. I think a lot of us say that, right? Yeah, Paul, you're like, I'm so busy. But how about saying, instead of I'm so busy, looking forward to this, I'm looking forward to this. I'm so busy. I don't really want to go. Well, I'm looking forward to this, right? Like R4, I felt like I was so busy right before, but then I was like, yeah, I know I'm busy, but let's look forward to this a little bit. My schedule is crazy. Who has a crazy schedule? Yeah, we all do. How about kind of changing that cue to that you're happy to be there? It's also about your body language. I'm so stressed. Um, and then terrible traffic, right? God, traffic was terrible. Bad weather. Sorry I'm late. How about thank you for your patience. So different cues to be able to change it a little bit. If you lean a little bit more on the competent side versus the warm side, there's a way that you could actually think about it and say, well, I'm not trying to be somebody else, but just with some different cues, you'd be able to kind of bridge that gap a little bit, because she talks about success in business being able to get along with a lot of people. And there's a lot of times you just don't get along with people, and it could be because they're kind of on that opposite side. You're very warm, they're very competent. They're very competent, and you're trying to find a way to bridge that gap. So the science of people was quite interesting. And sometimes there's people think of you a different way than you do. Holly, I think you and I were even talking about it after this, was because she had us do a quiz, and it wasn't up on the slides that I could take pictures, but it was a live kind of quiz where you could count on your hand, and it was 6 questions, and it was like, put a finger up if you're this, this, and this. And if you had 4 on your left side and 2 on your right side, you were more warm. If you were balanced on 3 on the warm side, 3 on the competent side, well, then you are kind of the perfect match. You are kind of the unicorn, so to speak. So it was really interesting. It was a fun exercise that we all went through, but little inspiring to know that you can bridge that gap between being a warm person and not just overly warm all the time, but being able to get along with those folks that maybe you thought you weren't be able to. And I think that can be in your personal life, but also in your professional life. So
Just a quick side note, if you do video, like I don't get a lot of real-time feedback because it's like this, it's in a Zoom room. And without the human interaction, a lot of times you end up in a vacuum. So I've been doing a lot of work just on myself. And one thing that was really fun was for me to take a 45-minute video class that I did, upload it into ChatGPT, and I said, please go read the book Cues by Vanessa Van whatever. And I want you to analyze my video, and I want you to give me recommendations on how I can be more charismatic, which is warmth, and it knows. And within 45 seconds, it watched my video, read the book, and came back and gave me a whole synopsis of how I was coming across in that particular video. So you can also change your emails. It was fascinating. It was probably the best part for me. Because communication is everything. Communication is so important in how we're perceived. But anyway, it was great, and it was really good. Check out the book.
Yeah.
I'll share for that last screen. You can get to James.
Yeah. So James Clear, he wrote that book, Atomic Habits. I don't know if anybody's read that book on the call or not. Oh, John, you did. Okay. I haven't even read that book yet. It's on my long list of to reads. How did you like that
Great.
book?
It's great. It's great. It's just, I mean, you got all these chicken soup for the soul books and all that. It's just the next generation of all that. It's well researched, really good, gets you focused, and
Yep.
it's the whole, start your morning right, get the morning
Yep.
routine, do it before 12. It's really great.
I
Yeah.
would say it's my favorite business book I've read.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Still on my list of long books my long list of books to read.
Put it near the top.
I should, instead of putting the let them theory at the top, which I did, I should have put this one, I guess. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so with James Clear, he does talk about, I mean, one thing he talks about is you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And it kind of sounds so boring in a way, because you're just like, oh, systems. But really, it kind of comes down to the 4 stages of a habit, right? So the big takeaway for me, because I mean, he talked for about 30 minutes, so I'm not going through all of that. But the 4 stages of a habit that he talked about are cue, which is basically a trigger that tells your brain to initiate a habit, the craving, which is the prediction that compels you to act, response, which is the actual habit you perform, and then the reward, the result that satisfies your craving. And the big takeaway in those 4, for me at least, and actually I talked to Holly, and we always talk throughout these things whenever we're sitting there listening to these speakers. But we talk about the cue part, and it's funny that she talked about cues too, Vanessa. But the cue part, it says a trigger that tells your brain to initiate a habit, and he talked about things that kind of got in the way of doing that, right? And I related it in my head to this way. There was a period of time where I walked every day. I have a little walking pad at home, right? And I was like, I can't get back to doing it. And what he talked about was, well, your cue is not there for you, right? And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And I thought about it, and I said, okay, when I come home from work and I come home, I know that if I take a break and sit down for 30 minutes, I'm not changing into my workout clothes and I'm not getting on my treadmill, right? I know that that's the pattern that I fall into. So Holly was like, put your workout clothes downstairs so that when you walk in the house, you change. And then you're already in that mindset. So that cue, I was like, oh, okay. So that was a big reframe, because there's the 4 stages of the habit, but that first one is the most important. So that was a kind of a big takeaway from James Clear. And I would say he was probably my second favorite speaker. What about you, Holly? I thought he was going to be my first favorite, but he was my second favorite speaker.
Yeah, Vanessa for sure. I have read the book, and the habit stacking it's just so important. But he also talks about just learn to show up. Get into the habit of showing up and don't worry about being at 100%. And I think that we reinforce that in the 12-week year. Every week, the results of the agents that are really tapping into the 12-week year, it has been great. And I feel like it blends in some of Atomic Habits. And, it's showing up, it's having the accountability, it's bobbing and weaving based off of what's working and what isn't working. He was great. And it was really good. And I think we could all improve with better habits and the way we come across in our communications.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think our final takeaways, really, if we just tried to keep it short, is really these four things. It's use the new tools. If you have been lax in understanding how to leverage what we have, the 18th of March would be a great 3 hours for you to come and not kind of put me on and put the screen off and do other things, but to really tap into those 3 hours and turn off your phone and really be present. A lot of times we go through the motions, and I know Zoom gives us the ability to do that and we multitask, but I really would encourage you to invest in yourself, the tools, and tap in for 3 hours uninterrupted, like we used to have to do when you couldn't even have your phone on when you used to go to CE. I think it would benefit you in the long run. I think it would open up your eyes to wanting to explore more. I would tell better stories in your marketing. I would love to work with you on marketing if you're doing farming. I'm really big on 4 postcards for every listing so that you could secure 3 more pieces of business. I'm passionate about that system, and I'd love to go deeper with people that understand the power of the power of 3. Build stronger relationships now more than ever. I look at Facebook and I'm like, they didn't write that. Everybody's starting to sound the same. Human interaction and authenticity is going to become more and more important as AI becomes more and more prevalent in the way people put stuff out there. So the more you can be yourself and have that come across and use our tools to do that, I think it's going to benefit you. AI shouldn't replace you. It should enhance your time so that you can actually spend more time with your clients. And then I think we could all improve through small daily habits, myself included.
Same.
I hope this was helpful. I hope it's created curiosity and you want to find more. And we are here to help you do that. So any questions or final comments?
We got the thumbs up from Paul. Thank you.
All right. Hey. Thanks, Rachel.
All right. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank y'all for going to Vegas and sacrificing your time.
Yeah.
But really
It was
appreciate
worth it.
the recap. You even did 12-week year while you were there, which was amazing. But I'm glad y'all, it is not 40-hour work week, the week of R4. It is exhausting and a lot.
It's exhausting. Yeah.
I hope the goal of those things is to take action. So excited to hear what's coming down the pipeline and how we can use it to help everyone. So thank you.
Yeah. And I hope everybody on the call
Yeah.
eventually gets to go. They are doing it again. They do it every year out in Vegas. So I hope that, you at least get to experience it one time.
So what is that? $2,000, including the ticket to go to R4, would you say?
Yeah, probably with food. I get, you could
I'd budget that.
Yeah, I would budget too because the ticket's usually $6.99. The hotel for 4 nights was $7.50. And then
Because you do
food.
get discounts
I mean,
on airfare. Yeah, you do get
yeah.
discounts on airfare as well as the hotel.
I mean, we've tried things in the past like, hey, every week put aside $50. If you started now, you'd have more than enough. And then if you're lucky, like Barry Sanders, you put a $10 bill in a slot machine, you get $2,000. I mean, I didn't have that luck, but
I didn't either.
But honestly, if you budget now, I mean, I think if we could get 30 people to go next year, how cool would that be? I mean, we had a lot of people for our 50th. I would love to get a huge group. Like, some of the countries that come, my gosh, like some of these countries, they come with so many people and it's just fun to see these big, well represented areas around the globe.
They did have some good entertainment for the MC that opened it up. They did a little bit different
Oh, he
this
was
year
so
for
funny.
each
And he'll be
session.
back
There
next
was
year.
Yeah, he'll be back next year. He was a comedian named Andrew Fung, but he's mainly out of
So
Canada, but he
funny.
was hilarious, interactive with the crowd. He put his
Oh
cell
my
phone number up there and he's
Oh,
like,
he was
text me
so
anything you want. And
And he was
uh,
reading the text messages the next morning. I mean, he had people rolling.
yeah,
And he's going to be doing it next year. I have heard of Train's music. I
oh,
had
Train was
no idea
great.
how good they were going to be in person. That was actually probably one of the best concerts. And I'm not,
Yeah,
I was like,
it was
I
my
knew some of
favorite
their
concert.
songs. It was so good, like unbelievable. So I'd love to
So
get a
yeah.
big group.
Sold. I'm sold on it
All
now.
right, all
All
right. We
right.
got you
Well,
down.
John
We got
Johnson,
you
you're
down.
in. We got you
And we
down.
know Lisa will be back next year. Lisa, so sorry you had to miss this year. I know you're on a 15 or 14-year run. So,
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have any questions, final thoughts? Okay.
all right, we
Great.
appreciate y'all.
Thanks for joining today.
See
Thank
you
you.
19th.